I don't know what to say.
Is this nigga serious?
Like, I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to lead into saying everything I have to say. First off, I know some of you have noticed my slight disappearance from this channel. Momentary, and some of you know that I'm posting on my other 2 channels. So real quick, I want to get this out the way. I'm going to explain why I have 3 channels. I'm going to explain what I'm doing on all 3 channels. For a lot of y'all who like when I do gameplays, you know, like Sims, I don't know why I can't, Hard Time, I'm trying to remember the games I played. That is going to be on the Rel channel. Click the link in the description and subscribe to the Rel channel that has my gameplays on it. Now the Kami channel, which is, that is only momentary because I was playing around with some names, but then I didn't read that you only can change your name twice in 2 weeks. So it's just like, that's what we got to stick with until like, what, 5 more days. But that is going to be the podcast channel. And yes, your boy has a podcast. As far as this channel is concerned, I'm not leaving it in the wind. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to be dead. I've come to realize personally, I've worked way too hard and gotten well known for way too many things on this channel. A lot of people enjoy the Awakened Tai alter ego that's there. So I'm not getting rid of this channel. For a lot of people, when they have their main channel and they want to go into another channel, they leave the old one in the wind. Personally, and I'm not bashing anybody who does that, but personally, I'm not doing that because it's too many hours just spent, like, for this channel specifically. Absolutely not. Actually, I'm gonna do live streams on this channel, so I might post live stream clips on here, but this channel is really for like live streaming on YouTube, for real. Yeah, don't worry, this channel Awakened Tai is not going anywhere. Awakened Tai is just not doing gameplays, which brings me to my next point, in which I know a lot of people are going to have questions. Why do you have 3 channels? Why not do all of it in one? And my response, my rebuttal towards that is because I want to. I've come to realize that God has given me the vision for a reason. God has given you your vision for a reason. Sometimes it gets a little hard explaining constantly over and over your creative process, why you're doing this, why'd you put this edit in here, why'd you say make this joke, why'd you dress this way for this, why'd this get to, it's just like I don't really have to explain myself unless I want to, and I don't want to. So it's like, okay, and regardless of what my reasoning is, the real supporters are going to support regardless. Let me not use supporter. If you're a real Third Eye Tribe member, you're going to show support to the Tai Kage whenever. So it don't matter. I don't want to seem like an asshole, but it's just the questions. Basically what I'm saying is, like, don't allow questions, don't allow what people say affect what you do. You can give me your advice, but make sure you think of your advice that somebody gives you as optional. You don't have to change your whole mojo. I've been influenced for a long time off of what my friends had to say or what other people had to say. And they controlled what I did. My mind would twist a certain way, like, oh, you know what? My homeboy said I should do this, so let me get on that. Oh, but my other homeboy said, no, what do you want to do? Do what you want to do. And if people look at you crazy, so what? There are some people, when I did the podcast, there are some niggas that enjoyed it, and there are some niggas that didn't enjoy it. Now, old Ty would have really paid attention to those who didn't enjoy it and been like, damn, they didn't enjoy it. Maybe podcasting isn't for me. Look out for those who just give you criticism instead of constructive criticism. If somebody says you should take these are examples. If somebody says I should take one of my people out the podcast or out my podcast, old Ty probably would have been like, you know what? Let me take the person out the podcast just because that person said so. And I respect that person. But ultimately, if I don't believe they should be on my podcast, they aren't coming out the podcast. Take people's advice into consideration, but don't allow it to control you or limit you. I started a podcast because I wanted to. I changed the Awakened Tide channel from gameplays to streaming because I wanted to. And thankfully to God, he's allowed me to be able to do such things. One thing my dad used to say was, don't nobody run me but God. Now, logically, the law, technically, it's like I knew what he meant. And he explained what he meant. Nobody's going to bottle cap what I want to do or try to limit what I do except for God. And God is a being who does not limit. So if I'm not going to let nobody control or bottle cap or limit what I do, except for God, and God does not limit, then there is no limit. Period. There is no limit. Sometimes when I do these, I even get shocked at the bars that I be spitting. If you're new to the Awakened Tide channel, I highly recommend you to just watch my sit and talks, bro. Sometimes it is okay to care for yourself, self-love or selfish. Name it what you want to name it, but it's okay to do what you want to do sometimes. Like I've said, I'm no hypocrite. I can sit here and say I am one of those people who allowed others to control what I do because I genuinely cared so much about what they thought of me. If you don't like me for me, then you're not supposed to be around me. Just because you say something and give your opinion, don't mean it's gonna be on my mind 24/7. Then there's other people who have a friend or somebody that they talk to and respect highly, meaning like, yeah, I respect what you do. I respect your mentality. I respect all this, that, and a third. But listen to what I'm saying and listen close. They are human just like you. They fuck up just like you. Do not the same roles with somebody that you admire. Do not allow them to control you. That is a limiter. There are people who told me, this is not how you make a cinematic vlog. This is not how you make a gameplay. This is not how you make skits. This is not how you do a podcast. Nigga, says who? Says who? There's no rule book to your creativity. There's no rule book to how to make gameplays. You could be the first to step out of that line, but you can miss out on that blessing because you wanted to sit up there and listen to other people and just limit you to what everybody else is doing. I don't gotta do what everybody else is doing. You don't either. Niggas be telling me that's not how you do. There are, and these are niggas who don't have podcasts. These are niggas who don't have, never done cinematic vlogs. These are niggas who don't know how to color grade. They be the main one who don't know how to do it and they've never done it. They be the main one talking about this is how you do this, this is how you do that. Nigga, there's no rule book. I could be the first person to do gameplays a certain way. I could be the first person to do live streams a different way. I could be the first person to do cinematic vlogs a different way. There's no rule book. There's just what everybody else is doing in their own way. Do it your way. I'm sorry. I just get so tired of these troglodytes, bro. This is your sign. Do what you want to do. Do it in your own way. I didn't want to color grade on my cinematic vlogs. I do, but if I didn't want to color grade on my cinematic vlogs, who's to say it ain't a cinematic vlog? Who's to say it wasn't done right? If I want to make my podcast done in a different way, so what? Oh, I don't like the way your podcast went. Nigga, so what? Boo-hoo. I don't like the way your skit was made. So what, nigga? Boo-hoo. What you think I'm about to ask for your advice? What sir, what can I do to make you watch it? Fuck that. Fuck that. I need one person's approval. One being's approval, and that's God. That's it. You can get 100 no's, 1,000 no's, 1,000,000 no. Don't do that. But if you get one yes from God, that's all you need. That's it. That's it. I encourage y'all out there to do you in the way you want to do it. There is no rule book to life. There's no rule book to parenting. There's no rule book to being a good content creator. Do you. That's the motherfucking rule book. Do you. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Just because 13 different people say this is how you do it this way, don't mean that you need to do it that way. Use the vision God has given you. Again, he gave you that vision for a reason. He didn't give your friend little Billy the vision, same vision you got, or he would understand what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying be completely ignorant. Take into consideration what somebody might be saying. Okay, yeah, I hear you. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to do what they're saying, don't do it. This took me so long to understand this one concept because there are some people whom I respected. And so when they gave their inputs and when they would say, this is not how you do it a certain way, I would downgrade how I felt and what I wanted to do for them because I respected them. Just because you respect somebody don't mean you gotta listen to them 24/7. Do what they want to do 24/7. You don't have to do that. There are some people who has something to say about the way, this is the most recent one I've got to really make me speak up about it, because since I've changed my mentality to what I just told y'all, this is the most recent situation that's happened. There are some people who said the podcast that I did on my channel wasn't a podcast, or that's not how a podcast is supposed to be ran. People actually said that shit. And even with the change mentality I had, I said, damn, maybe that's not. But then God quickly made me say, nope, stand on what you stand on how the podcast was done. Because the podcast didn't even turn out the way I thought it would turn out. It turned out better. And I really enjoyed it. A big influx of people DMing me in the comment section and other people's discords saying that they really enjoyed the podcast. There are like 5, 6, 7 YouTubers asked to be on the podcast. We already got like 8 niggas. Do you? I don't care who it is. You need one yes from God. That's it. Stand on business.